What you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Experience the awakening. Brilliant anonymous researchers. Patriots, join us in the Patriot Army. Trust the plan, pain coming. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. RedStateTalkRadio.com, Brighteon.tv, Rumble.com/MG Show. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Where we go one, we go all. Fight, 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 and fight we will. We fight every day right here on the MG Show. Well, I'd like to say, Real Iron Eagle, it is a great time to be an American. Thank you for the $17 Rumble Rant. We love you guys. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be and whenever you may be listening to this show. We are live right now. It is, what is it? It's September 30th, 2025. My God, we've got another Q-proof because both Hegseth and President Trump call out Raising Cane, the People's General, 3 asterisks soon. If you didn't know, at that time, Raising Cane was a 3-star general, and now who's the one that went and bombed Iran, went and did all this? It wasn't any other general, but Raising Cane. Learn, Anons. Learn with your fake decodes. Raising Cane is the people's general. Shady Groove, I had to say it.
Welcome, welcome, and it needed to be said. You had to say it because it needed to be said. What we had to do is we had to explain to everybody that the future looks bright. It's so bright, Jeff. We probably do need shades. I mean, let's just be honest about it. Like, we are here on episode 186 of this season, the end of the 9th month of the year, one episode away from episode 187. I would like to thank all of the Patriots from around the world. I'd like to thank everybody. And I'm not just talking about the Americans. I'm talking about everybody from around the world that is still listening to my voice, still hearing us talk here at this show to explain to you on the podcast or on Rumble or on X or on Facebook or on Red State Talk Radio, wherever you are listening around the world. America is getting ready to shine like it has never shined before in your lifetime. No one has ever seen what is about to happen. I'd like to bring your attention to the golden Oval Office that currently Donald Trump is occupying and explain to you that what he is doing, he's emulating what he is about to do for you. We are moving into the golden age. If you would like to hang on to the doom and gloom and the fear, uncertainty, and the doubt that is pervasive on social media, you are more than welcome. God bless you for being such an idiot that's all you can do is scream and yell about how bad things are. Things are good. Things are amazing. You're amazing. We're amazing. And Donald Trump is leading this country in the direction that we, the two of us, the MG Show, the Matrix Groove Hour, the reason that these microphones went hot is because we believe that Donald Trump would eventually get an opportunity to do what it is that he is currently doing. God bless him. God bless America. And I'm here to be excited and share it with all of you guys every single day here on the MG Show. How was that?
You know, it's true, Shady. And, I am not going to stop, Shady Groove. And have I now become your enemy by telling you the truth? I'm sorry. I'm going to continue.
The triggering will continue. Is that what you're saying?
Yep. And the noticing, man. You got to notice the noticing, man. Right?
That's what you got to do.
I love it. And, people that you've helped in the past end up stabbing you in the back and calling your fans, stupid names and then say stupid shit. And I'm done with it. Sorry. You guys know who I'm talking about because I'm taking the higher ground, the higher road. All right. Shady. Wow.
I just down this shit from
Oh, sorry. All right. So I want to thank again Poussant for yesterday. That post that she made yesterday. If you didn't see yesterday's show, this show is not going to disrespect Erica Kirk or Charlie Kirk's legacy by making these stupid shit for brains type decodes, guys, and ask questions that are just totally meant to stop the message of Charlie Kirk, okay? And it's just one of those things. I refuse to. I refuse to go on the Alexis Cash's girlfriend is Mossad. I refused to do that. You have no proof, okay? You've got an association with PragerU, who's the CEO, but that's not her. You got nothing. You're going with Kyle Serafin's narratives. You're going with General Flynn Network narratives. I'm done. I am not a part of the General Flynn Network, nor will I ever be again.
We're part of the Raising Cain Colonel Matthews Network.
Yeah, Raising Cain.
We're part of the Donald Trump Network. So what you're currently seeing is an operation. What you're currently seeing is what it is that this show has prepared you for the last 7 years. The fight was not in the past. I know you guys think that the fight was to get Donald Trump elected. No. And we told you this. We explained to you this, that the reason that Q came to the forefront to explain the Alex Jones network and to show you the gross underbelly of what the clowns really are doing around the world with instigating coups in foreign countries and then currently controlling and occupying the governments of those countries and their infrastructure. That's what's happening. Right now, you heard Pete Hegseth address a lot of these generals that are there in front of him at the Pentagon. That is the core of the rot. And I'm going to say it again. The core of the rot does not lay in Israel, okay? It's not Israel controlling America. It's the military-industrial complex who thinks that they can instigate and utilize and work with intelligence agencies and control whatever country it is they want to control. And they've been doing it for 60 years. They think that they thought that they could do it over us. And Pete Hegseth today, Jeff, gave them a real swift kick in the you-know-what to tell them otherwise.
Yeah. And Pastor Shelley, we've seen it a million times, haven't we, my friend? All right. So that's what we're doing, guys. We are carrying on to carry on. And, it is what it is, guys. And Shady Groove, well said. And I couldn't have stated it better. Now, where are we at? So let's do a couple of Q proofs before.
Yep.
They're pesky, Shady Groove. These,
they're bugging you, aren't they?
And it will not get easier, guys. There's going to be more people turning and more people, okay? Because these Q proofs are coming out. They don't want you. They talk about Q, but they never show you Q. We show you Q. We show you exactly how it ties, exactly what's happening, and I'm calling them pesky Q proofs. If you go to my site in the matrix of 3x's.com and just put pesky in and you'll find them. I see Torch at puss_Q is doing an amazing job. So I try to repost him and then I try to do another one with the pesky Q proof. So it's eternalized in my Twitter account. Okay. So here is a pesky Q proof hat tip to Torch. This is interesting. Netflix is trying to normalize. Okay, we know what that is. This is from Libs of TikTok. Dead End Paranormal Park, a show on Netflix, is pushing transgender on children. The show is advertised for 7-year-olds. Trying to normalize? Who just joined the board of Netflix? Who pushed? What is coming? Hat tip puss. Puss Q. Look at this, guys. Trying to normalize. Child pornography. And this was Susan Rice at the time. Okay. We know that the Obamas also got a big stake in it. Who pushed? What is coming? Okay. This is the actual, I'll show you the actual thing right here, but this is the post from Libs of TikTok. Parents beware. Okay. This is the article from the Q Post. Netflix is under fire for film critics say contains child pornography. And it was called Desearas, Desearas. Former National Security Advisor and UN Ambassador Susan Rice Barack Obama has twice joined the board of directors for Netflix. March 2018 and December 20, she stepped down, and she's back again on 2023. And this post is on June 28th, 2018. So Susan Rice they were talking about, guys, and this is the actual crap that Netflix is advertising to 7-year-olds.
It's not the park. It's me. I'm trans, Norma. And everyone at school knows, and everyone at home knows. And being here, it's like a whole new place. I can just be Barney, and I can choose if and when I tell people. I've never been happier. And that's saying something when I spent today chased by...
Nobody cares, okay? Nobody freaking cares. You guys are less than 1% of the population. Nobody cares. Quit pushing it. Shady.
They're not going to quit pushing it. So they're not going to quit pushing it because the rest of the world is going to continue. And what you're getting ready to see is the dynamic. There's got to be a counterbalance, guys. This is just like when you talk about with the vaccination and all of the people, they didn't want there to be a control group. They didn't want there to be a group that weren't exposed to this, to not taking the vaccine, so that there would be nobody that you could look back and say, these people didn't take it and they're somehow better off. This is very similar to what we're talking about here. This type of content is not being rooted out in Europe. It's not being rooted out in Australia. It's not being rooted out in Canada or any other country. Every single other country is going to continue down this DEI, woke, progressive path. They're all going to do it. So what you're getting ready to see in the world on the global stage is a dynamic that is set up that distinguishes America from everybody else, so that we can finally use discernment and give everybody a real clear picture of what it means to be a human being and what it means to have entities that are leading you and feeding you information and leading you in a way that is not of your best interest. The only way the rest of the world are going to learn that is to watch the example that we set for them over the course of the rest of the Trump administration.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And
it'll continue.
And I want you guys to keep the comments coming in here. People need to see the asshattery happening. Okay, guys, you guys need to see it. Again, we're going to keep the comments. Okay, moderators, thank you. So this is what I want to post as well, because this is a pesky Q-proof as well. The People's General, okay? Interesting to note, General Kane was a 3-star general at the time of this Q post. It was him, not anybody else, that Q was referring to when he posted this on 6/24/2020, the People's General, soon Q. Now, on April of 2024, he became a 4-star general, okay? This would have happened if Biden didn't win, and it wouldn't have been this guy, okay? Sorry, all right? Here is the sauce. That's what we bring. I want to thank Agent Miami for grabbing this clip. I actually posted this in the actual graphic in with it.
Secretary Hegseth and General Kane, General Raising Kane for a reason, they call him that. When I heard his name, I said, you're the guy I'm looking for. The Joint Chiefs of Staff and
so that, you see that? That's the general I was looking for, okay? Not anybody else. You understand? You understand, Shady, right?
Well, let's do understand. Let's take a second and let's try to understand. Like, what does it mean? Well, what it means was, so, okay, for instance, yesterday on Fox News, they're getting ready to run a documentary by Martha McCallum talking about the threat of Iran and how the gloom is at the front door. Okay, just giving you an example here. That's something that Fox News produced. It was produced before we dropped 12 or 13 missiles right down the air shafts of that facility in Iran. You have to understand the dynamic that's being set up. You have to understand how the Alex Jones networks and the Democrats and the media, including Fox News, are all working together. They have a stream of common goals. All of their goals are not common, but they have a stream of common goals that's at the center, juicy middle of all of that, and what they want to do to us and what they're leading us to and what they've been leading us to. What they've all been agreeing on to lead us to, Donald Trump just obliterated in the sands of the Middle East with what he did to Iran's nuclear facilities. He took the threat away. So therefore, their little news stories that they're doing, they're trying to make everybody afraid, uncertain, and doubtful about what could happen to us. Oh my God, Iran has this big threat. It was all for show, guys. I want you to understand this. They were never a threat. Iran was never a threat to you. They were never a threat for World War III. They were never going to be a threat to you. And what Donald Trump essentially did is he eliminated their ability to utilize propaganda and attack you with it. But they continue to do it even though there's no threat. That's exactly the same thing that you're seeing happen online.
That's right. That's right. Amazing. So let's go over this real quick because it's important to understand. The 3-star Lieutenant General Dan Raisin Kane, and remember, even in, he was talking about Raisin Kane a long time ago, guys. Okay,
Yes.
Remember? It was around this time as well. But the Anons wanted you to think it was somebody else. Okay? He became a 4-star general on April 11th, 2025. Look at the timing of this post. 6/24/2020. It would have happened, okay? This guy would have been the people's general, and he is right now, okay? So we all need to take a minute to thank General Raisin Kane as Trump's favorite general and now to be known as the people's general. Trump has repeatedly credited General Kane with playing a key role in the defeat of the ISIS caliphate. Nobody else. The other generals said it would take over 5 years. Remember that? Remember Trump's words, guys, okay? He was confirmed by the Senate as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and received the promotion prior to the confirmation vote. Then he made him the first chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff not previously held a 4-star rank. Okay. Somebody else is very jealous of this man right here now, Shady, I guarantee. But let's keep going. This is, my name is Kane, sir. What's your name? They call me Raisin.
It's so good.
I'm standing on the top, and I look down, and there's these handsome people. Everybody's like from a movie set. Good-looking guys. I get down the stairs, and what's your name? My name is Kane, sir. What's your first name? They call me Raisin. I say, wait a minute, your name is Raisin Kane? I love you. I've been looking for you for 5 years.
Oh.
You are the great. This is what.
How many years?
5 years.
Wow. So that lines up to the Q post, doesn't it, folks?
It would almost like he couldn't find his. General Flynn can't say he didn't see him. Trump's been looking. Well, he must have looked past that guy.
I've offered you 10 jobs.
He's like General Flynn's like me like this. He's like, I can't see anything. I've been looking for somebody good for 5 years.
Right. Let's look at the timestamp 2 days ahead of schedule. 6/22/2025, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth and Chairman of Joint Chief of Staff General Kane hold a press conference. 6/20/2020, the People's General, soon 3 stars. Look at that, guys. Wow, guys. 2 days ahead of schedule.
And then all of a sudden, now we're only 8 months into the administration, and he's already eliminated Iran as a threat. This general. He created the war plan and initiated the war plan that was successful in Iran. And Trump says not even a loose bolt in the mission.
That's right. There he is right there.
General Flynn run a mission without a loose bolt. Every mission he ran had loose bolts.
This is more on this Q proof. 6/25/25, the People's General at NATO. Okay. Speaking very highly. March 2029 CPAC speech, President Trump mentioned General Dan Raisin Kane. That was 2019. And vaguely referred to other generals, colonels, and sergeants he met during a December 2018 Iraq visit. He claimed he told them the Islamic threat remaining territory could be retaken in 1 week, unlike an unnamed general he fired, who estimated 2 years. Was it this guy? Boom. Boom, guys. All right, don't forget to check this thread.
Don't forget.
And then Captain Chaos made a song called The People's General. God bless you all. All right, so I wanted to make sure you guys understood how the movement, our movement, was infiltrated by fake decodes, okay?
Yes.
Anon says this. It must be true. No. Q said it. It was misinterpreted on purpose, but we know better, don't we, Shady?
We do. And then we've learned this the hard way with all of you. Because we at once thought one way, now we think another way, because you can see clearly. And I think that this is perfect. All the stuff that's happening right now, because everyone can clearly see that this is the way this is supposed to roll out. This is not going to be like, some sort of play on the lawn where everybody gets in the amphitheater and we sit there and we watch it all happen like we're watching TV. That's not what goes down. What we had an information dissemination project that gave us a literal metric ton of information. And it said, hold on to this. It's going to be relevant in the future. It didn't say, take this and make up a bunch of fantasies and then create a fantasy world, and then all of you live in it and pretend like anybody else that doesn't want to live in it is somehow crazy.
Yeah. John Nemeth says, couldn't be happier that I found this community. You guys have taught me so much. God bless you all. Yeti, Jeff, Shannon, because of you guys, I am unpsyopable. MG Show always brings the receipts. Please help John there get a red castle if you can. We got Cue Ball naked. We got John naked. We need our red castles in here. We need that. Mickey B says, happy podcast days. We support the best news show of any format on the planet. Thank you so much, Mickey B, for that $17 Rumble Rant. Guys, we are just so honored to be here with you every day. And, you know, what has just happened, maybe some of you know, maybe some of you don't, but we're not going to mention any names like they will, okay? We're taking the higher road. But you guys have seen this over and over and over. This marks what, 4, 5, 6,000 people that have turned on us since we started doing this, Shady?
Yeah.
We're used to it.
Looks like we got a birthday out there, Jeff. D Sweet.
D Sweet's birthday. Yes, we were hurried into the show because we were trying to get everything set up. D Sweet, thank you so much. Happy birthday. Another year around the sun. God bless you all.
Man, I'm telling you, it's almost like we all have one of those every year.
I don't. No,
I was hoping they would
mine stopped when I was 34.
I really did think that was going to stop.
Real Iron Eagle gifted 5 subscriptions. Thank you, G Brothers. Again, 5 subscriptions. And Ross Pierce says that Donald Trump is making the American golf team practice their putting, Shady.
Yeah, let me tell you something. You talk about picking.
Yeah.
Woo, I could not believe how bad the American team putted, quote unquote. Yeah. I'll leave it there, but you saw what I saw.
Yeah. Mikey Mariano says he does his. They started going backward when he hit 50, so he's now 37.
Oh, really? What is that? That makes me like, oh man, I got to
12.
Like 28. 12. Dear God, you're so bad at math.
Oh my God, I am. All right, so we've got so much. I mean, look, we were coming on the show today, and Trump is in the office talking about Trump RX. We're going to get to that later. He was talking about Israel last night. He's addressing the generals, guys, to the department. He's addressing remarks to the Department of War, okay? We need to watch that. It's very important to watch that because there's very interesting things that he says inside this speech. Holy moly, Shady.
Well, listen, I have seen a couple of clips. I saw like the last 15 minutes. I didn't get to see the part where Hegseth talked yet, which I heard was fire, and literally talk like these people at the Pentagon. Let me tell you something, guys. The people that are in control of the Pentagon are some of the laziest, sloppiest POSs ever to live on planet Earth. The people that are the veterans of foreign wars don't really occupy the Pentagon, okay? It's a whole nother class of people. They come from an elite group of dumb families from around the country that have pretty much sided with the woke globalists the whole time. And it sounds like Pete Hegseth has had about his fill of it.
Can we say death cult?
Death cult!
Yeah!
Roar!
Wow. All right, so let's start from Hegseth, okay?
Oh, I love that.
Let's start from Hegseth because
it's gonna get me
he doesn't want fat generals, guys. And he doesn't want the TV generals. He talks about Miley. Who was Miley's mentor? Or who was mentored by Miley? Yes, Charles Flynn, okay? Charles Flynn he quit just when Donald Trump got elected. I wonder why that is, huh? So, guys, listen carefully to what is being said here. And the People's General, he will also talk about the People's General. Can you guys guess who the People's General is?
Well, that Charles Flynn guy, he's not the slimmest dude around, and you don't really see any fat Chinese generals.
Who is the People's General, guys? Type it in chat. Let me see what you guys think. And as we go to the Secretary of War.
It's going to get me fired up.
Let's go.
Well, you've heard from me. So now it's the main event. Our Commander-in-Chief. I have the privilege every single day of watching him put America first.
Well, we'll listen to President Trump.
Ensuring that our warfighters have everything they need. His compass is clear. He's easy to follow because he has our back. I was thinking backstage, the man who was the Commander-in-Chief when the War Department was created was George Washington. The man who was president when the War Department was reestablished is President Trump. And when he found out about this gathering of senior leaders, he said, I would be honored to come in order to address and thank the incredible Americans who defend our nation. He has a heart full of gratitude and love for what you do, and we get a chance to see it every day. And I'm honored that this morning you all firsthand get to see it as well.
Now, this is the intro to Trump. So let's watch our president, and then we'll go back and get some clips of Hegseth. How's that? All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen.
Why are you growling at the president?
I just growled because I thought I was going to be getting Hegseth, but I'm okay.
Join me in.
I want the president.
Okay, well, we're going to agree.
All right, we'll agree to disagree that we agree.
No, we're agreeing to agree.
All right, I agree.
Like I'm disagreeable. Now you're setting up narratives against me.
This counseling is working great.
No, it's not. It's
Welcoming
like frosted flakes.
45th and 47th President of the United States, our Commander-in-Chief, Donald J. Trump.
Thank you very much, Pete. Great job you're doing, too. Fantastic job. I've never walked into a room so silent before. This is very... Don't laugh. Don't laugh. You're not allowed to do that. You know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud.
You just
and
called
if
us
you want
back.
to do anything you want, you can do anything you want. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. Of course, there goes your rank. There goes your future.
PTFOH.
And you just feel nice and loose, okay? Because we're all on the same team.
That makes me
And,
nervous.
I was told that, sir, you won't hear a murmur in the room. I said, we got to loosen these guys up a little bit. So you just have a good time. But I want to thank Secretary Hegseth and General Kane, General Raising Kane for a reason, they call him that. When I heard his name, I said, you're the guy I'm looking for. The Joint Chiefs of Staff and so many others in this room who together represent the greatest and most elite fighting force in the history of the world, the United States military. We're very proud of our military. I rebuilt the military during my first term. It's one of the greatest achievements. We had the greatest economy in history, and I built the military. Those are the two things I say more than anything else. And I also kept us safe at the borders. We had very good borders. We didn't have people coming in from jails and prisons and everything like took place over the last 4 years. They'll never forget what happened to this country over the last 4 years with the incompetence. There could be no higher honor than to serve as your commander-in-chief. It is a great honor. I look at you, just incredible people. Central casting, I might add. To each and every one of you.
Oh my God, he said central casting. He says that a lot, guys. I've seen people say that. All it means is that you look the part of the role. It doesn't mean people are really stretching the way that means, guys. You know, don't be too crazy with everything. What do you think? Stretching. It's a stretch.
I thank you for your unwavering devotion to the armed forces and to the country. We've all sworn a sacred oath to defend. We all have that oath, every one of us. I'm thrilled to be here this morning to address the senior leadership of what is once again known around the world as the Department of War. I know Pete spoke about it. He gave a great speech, I thought. Great speech.
But we're not going to listen to it because Shady wants to hear it, okay? What? Why are you giving...
I don't want him to get so good. I hate that. You know? No, I hate it. I almost fired him. I said, you can't, I don't want to go on after that. No, he gave a great speech, but he talked about Department of War. We were sitting there. I said, didn't it used to be called the Department of War? And he goes, yes, sir. They changed it like in the early 50s. So we won the First World War. We won the Second World War. We won everything in between and everything before that. We only won. And then we went, in a way, woke. That was probably the first sign of wokeness. And we changed it to defense instead of war. And I said, what do you think? How do you think if we changed it back? Would that be a nice idea? And Pete loved it immediately. Some people thought about it. You know, they gave it a little thought. But in the end, we did it. And I have to be honest, it's so popular. I thought it would be met with fury on the left, but they're sort of giving up, I must be honest with you. They've had it. They've had it with Trump. They've been after me for so many years now. Here we are. Here we are. Come to the White House anytime you'd like. No, they've given up. A lot of bad people. But all over, that's been so popular. It's been very popular. I really thought that we were going to have to sort of fight it through. There's been no fight. There's been no fight. Like when I called the Gulf of America, the Gulf of America, because to me it was always the Gulf of America. I could never understand. We have 92% of the frontage. And for years, actually 350 years, they were there before us. It was called the Gulf of Mexico. I just had this idea. I'm looking at a map. I'm saying, we have most of the frontage. Why is it Gulf of Mexico? Why isn't it the Gulf of America? And I made the change, and it went smoothly. I mean, we had a couple of fake news outlets that refused to make the change. And then one of them, AP, took us to court, and we won. And the judge, who was a somewhat liberal judge, said, the name is the Gulf of America, because AP refused to call it the Gulf of America. They wrote, they're not a good outfit, by the way. They call it the Gulf of Mexico. I said, no, the Gulf of America is the name. And the judge actually said that, in fact, you can't even go into the room because what you're doing is not appropriate. The name is the Gulf of America. Google Maps changed the name. Everybody did, but AP wouldn't. And then we won in court. How about that? Isn't that so cool? The Secretary Hegseth beautifully described the name change reflects far more than the shift in branding. It's really a historic reassertion of our purpose and our identity and our pride. That's when we go with the word war. And we want war because we want to have no wars, but you have to be there. And sometimes you have to do it. I have settled so many wars since we're here. We're here almost 9 months, and I've settled 7. And yesterday we might have settled the biggest of them all, although I don't know. Pakistan, India was very big. Both nuclear powers, I settled that. But yesterday could be the settlement in the Middle East. That hasn't happened for 3,000 years. I said, how long have you been fighting? 3,000 years. So that's a long time. But we got it, I think, settled. We'll see. Hamas has to agree. And if they don't, it's going to be very tough on them. But it is what it is. But all of the Arab nations, Muslim nations have agreed. Israel has agreed. It's an amazing thing. It just came together. War is very strange. You never know what's going to happen with war. The easiest one of them all is Putin. I said, number one, it's a war that would have never happened if I were president, if the election weren't rigged. And if I were president, that war would have never happened. Not even a little chance. And it didn't happen for 4 years. But I knew Putin very well, and I thought that would be easy because I know him so well. Well, that one turned out to be the hardest of them all. We had some that were not settlable, and they all got settled. So if this works out, that we did yesterday with the Middle East, then that's more than a war. That's lots of wars. That's all combined. That's a lot of wars. Many of you were over there in many different capacities in many different countries. That's a big part of the earth. But if that works out, it would be 8+. I'm going to give myself 2 or 3 for that one. And then we just have the one to settle. We have to settle it up with President Putin. And Zelensky, got to get them together and get it done. But the only way we can do that is through strength. I mean, if we were weak, they wouldn't even take my phone call, but we have extreme strength. We had the horror show in Afghanistan, which is really the reason I think that Putin went in. He saw that horror show by Biden and his team of incompetent people. And that showed, I think it gave him a path in. I wasn't there any longer. I watched that, and it was so horrible. I think it was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country. And now we're back. That's it. We're not going to have any of that crap happen, I can tell you. That was terrible, so terrible. Together we're reawakening the warrior spirit, and this is a spirit that won and built this nation. And from the cavalry that tamed the Great Plains to the ferocious, unyielding power of Patton Bradley and the great General Douglas MacArthur. These are all great men. In this effort, we're a team, and so my message to you is very simple. I am with you, I support you, and as president, I have your backs 100%. You'll never see me even waver a little bit. It's the way it is. And that includes our great police officers and firemen and all of these people that are doing so well. Together over the next few years, we're going to make our military stronger, tougher, faster, fiercer, and more powerful than it has ever been before. I rebuilt our nuclear, as you probably know, but we'll upgrade that also and just hope we never have to use it. We have to hope we never have to use it, because the power of that is so incredible. I see things, I don't think they'd show it to you. I really wouldn't want them to show it to you. But when you see the result of what's left, you never want to use that. Never, never, ever. We were a little bit threatened by Russia recently, and I sent a submarine, nuclear submarine, the most lethal weapon ever made. Number one, you can't detect it. There's no way. We're 25 years ahead of Russia and China in submarines. Russia's actually second in submarines. China's third, but they're coming up. They're coming up. They're way lower in nuclear too, but in 5 years they'll be equal. They're coming up. And you don't have to be that good with nuclear. You could have 1/20th what you have now and still do the damage that would be, that'd be so horrendous. But I announced that, based on his mention of nuclear, and it was really a stupid person that works for him mentioned the word nuclear, I moved a submarine or two, I won't say about the two, over to the coast of Russia, just to be careful, because we can't let people throw around that word. I call it the N-word. There are two N-words, and you can't use either of them. Can't use either of them. And frankly, if it does get to use, we have more than anybody else. We have better, we have newer, but it's something we don't ever want to even have to think about. But when somebody mentions it, that submarine started immediately thereafter. And it's just lurking, but I'm sure we're not going to have to use it. But it's an amazing, it's undetectable, totally. Ours is, theirs isn't. Theirs are totally detectable. We can detect them easily. We go right to the spot. But we have genius apparatus that doesn't allow detection. It doesn't allow detection at all by anybody above water or below water. It's incredible. We're way ahead of everybody in that and other things. As a result of the exciting renewal of the spirit of our armed forces, and that's what it is. It's really reaching that spirit, unprecedented heights. Over the past 8 months, new enlistments, I'm so proud of this, have surged to record highs, the highest we've ever had. And we used to have recruiting shortages. If you remember, about a year and a half ago, I was at the beginning stage of a campaign, and things came out that you couldn't get people to join the armed forces. And by the way, the police also, fire department. I always put the fire department in because they're great. They're great. And I got 95% of their vote too, that helps. When you get 95% of their vote, you always have to mention them. But they're great. And they're brave in our inner cities, which we're going to be talking about, because it's a big part of war now. It's a big part of war. But the firemen go up on ladders and you have people shooting at them while they're up on ladders. I don't even know if anybody heard that. And I said, don't talk about it much, but I think you have to. Our firemen are incredible. They're up on one of these ladders that goes way up to the sky, rescuing people, and you have animals shooting at them, shooting bullets at firemen that are way up in death territory. You fall off that ladder, it's over. It's over. They don't even have to inspect you when you hit the ground. And you have people shooting bullets at them in some of these inner cities. We're not going to let that happen. So I always mention the firemen because that's actually a big problem we have. They are unbelievable. Like you, they're unbelievable people. For the first time on record in 2025, the Navy, Air Force, and Space Force all met or surpassed their recruiting goals 3 months early. That never happened before. And the Army did even better. Congratulations, Army. They met everything. And these were the highest standards because we're making it larger. So these were much higher standards than you had 4 years ago, 3 years ago, during the Sleepy Joe Biden era. And the Army did it 4 months early. And you remember, a year and a half ago, they said the big stories that we're way behind with the Army, Air Force, the Navy, the Marines. We're way behind, Coast Guard. And even Space Force. I love Space Force because that was my creation. You know, when you create something, I love it. And the people we put in there were good. I got that right. We put in great people initially, and we've really dominated. We really dominate in that sphere now. We're way behind China and Russia, and now we dominate. Space Force turned out to be a very important thing. I said from the beginning, you know, when Biden came into office, he wanted to terminate it. He said, and this thing called Space Force, so we could get rid of that. And he got hammered by the people in this room for even suggesting it, because it's very important, one of the most important. And as time goes by, it'll get more and more important. But we're now at 106% of our recruiting targets for the year, and that's the best in far more than a generation. And for the Marines, morale is so strong that the Marine Corps will meet its 2026 retention targets before the end of October, which never happens. And that's the earliest it's ever happened in the history of our country. And it makes you feel good, you know. I felt guilty. I'd go make a speech in front of never people like you. You are the leaders, but people, soldiers. And I felt embarrassed because there'd be stories about, you know, we couldn't fill up our Army, Navy, Air Force. We couldn't fill them up. And it was headlines. It was during Biden's 4 years, the auto pen. I call him the auto pen. It's, how would you like to have your thing signed by an auto pen? You know, when I have a general and I have to sign for a general because we have beautiful paper, the gorgeous paper, I said throw a little more gold on it. They deserve it. I want the A paper, not the D paper. We used to sign a piece of garbage. I said, this man's going to be a general, right? Yeah. I don't want to use this. I want to use the big, beautiful, firm paper. I want to use the real gold writing when you talk about the position, and they're beautiful. And, but how would you like to have that where some kid sitting in the back office is having it signed with an auto pen? I thought about it, and I thought about you people first, admirals, generals. I said, somebody works his whole life. He gets into maybe the academies or wherever, but however you got there, and you go through years of work, and now you become an admiral or a general or whatever. And when you do, the President of the United States signs your commission, as you know, and that commission is beautifully displayed. And I sign it. Actually, I love my signature. I really do. Everyone loves my signature. But I signed it very proudly, and I always think to myself, how can you have an auto pen sign this? It's just so disrespectful. To me, it's just totally disrespectful. And it turned out that almost everything he did was signed by auto pen, except for what he gave his son, Hunter, pardon. He signed that one. And that's actually the worst signature I've ever seen. That was the bad. The auto pen looks much better. But as leaders, our commitment to every patriot who put on the uniform is to ensure that American military remains the most lethal and dominant on the planet, not merely for a few years, but for the decades and generations to come, for centuries. We must be so strong that no nation will dare challenge us, so powerful that no enemy will dare threaten us, and so capable that no adversary can even think about beating us. And we've had it recently. I had India and Pakistan were going at it, and I called them both. And in this case, I used trade. I'm not going to trade with you. You start two nuclear nations, big nuclear. No, you cannot do that. I said, yes, I can. You go into this frickin' war that I'm hearing about. You know, actually, they just shot down 7 planes. 7 planes, it was starting. There's a lot of bad blood. And I said, you do this, there's not going to be any trade. And I stopped the war. It was raging for 4 days, but that was just the beginning. And we stopped it. It was a great thing. And the Prime Minister of Pakistan was here, along with the Field Marshal, who's a very important guy in Pakistan. And he was here 3 days ago. And I didn't even realize it as beautiful as he said it, but he said that to a group of people that were with us, 2 generals, but a group. He said, this man saved millions of lives because he saved the war from going on. And that war was going to get very bad very, very bad. President Trump saved millions and millions of lives. That was a bad war. And I was very honored. I loved the way he said it. Susie Wiles was there. She said that was the most beautiful thing. But we saved a lot of them. Saved a lot of them. Even in Africa, we saved the Congo with Rwanda. They've been fighting for 31 years, 10 million people dead. I got that one done. And very proud of it. So if this works out, we'll have 8 in 8 months. That's pretty good. Nobody's ever done that. Will you get the Nobel Prize? Absolutely not. They'll give it to some guy that didn't do a damn thing. They'll give it to a guy that wrote a book about the mind of Donald Trump and what it took to solve the wars. And he'll get the Nobel Prize will go to a writer. No, but well, let's see what happens. But it's be a big insult to our country. I will tell you that. I don't want it. I want the country to get it. It should get it because there's never been anything like it. Think of it. So if this happens, I think it will. I don't say that lightly because I know more about deals than anybody. This is what my whole life was based on. And they can change, and this can certainly change. But we have just about everybody. We have one signature that we need, and that signature will pay in hell if they don't sign. I hope they sign for their own good and we create something really great. But to have done 8 of them is just like such an honor. And then we have Putin and Zelensky. The easiest one of them all. I said, that one I'll get done. I thought that was going to be first. The others were much harder, some of them. Azerbaijan this was going on for 36 years. They said, it's not solvable, sir. Don't do it. I said, I will do it. I will do it. And I got on the phone with the 2 countries. They were great. They were great. I knew immediately. I knew as soon as I started talking to them, we're going to solve that war. We did. Now they're so happy. Now they're friends. One said he's been president for 32 years, 22 years. He said, for 22 years, I did nothing but kill his people. They were in the room together at the Oval Office. And they started off spread like this. They have the beautiful Resolute desk. And one was here, and one was here. You couldn't get further away. That's the furthest I've ever seen 2 people in front of me. And as the hour went by, they got closer, closer, closer. And at the end of the hour, we had it done. And they hugged and hugged and hugged. And I said, that's so nice, and you're going to remain friends. And I spoke to them, one of them the other day. He said, no, he's now my friend. But for 22 years, he's been the head of Azerbaijan for 22 years. And the other guy, great guy too, 7. And that war, that was a war that was not solvable. He said for 7 years. The other one said for 22 years. All I did was kill his people. That's all I've done. I said, well, we're going to put a stop to that. So we solved that. So it's a great thing. It's a great feeling. You're saving Kosovo and Serbia. You're saving so many lives doing this if you can do it. But our people deserve nothing less than the very best, and we're never going to let them down. And if we can solve wars instead of you having to fight wars, wouldn't that be wonderful, right? Wouldn't that be wonderful? That's why one of the first executive orders I signed upon taking office was to restore the principle of merit. That's the most important word, other than the word tariff. I love tariffs. Most beautiful word. But I'm not allowed to say that anymore. I said tariff is my favorite word. I love the word tariff. We're becoming rich as hell. We have a big case in front of the Supreme Court, but I can't imagine, because this is what other nations have done to us. And we have, great legal grounds, but you still have a case. It would be very bad. Something happened. But I said, my favorite word in the English dictionary is the word tariff. And people thought that was strange. And the fake news came over and they really hit me hard on it. They said, what about love? What about religion? What about God? What about wife, family? I got killed when I said tariff is my favorite word. So I changed it. It's now my 5th favorite word. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But they hit me hard. But it is. When you look at, we've taken in trillions of dollars. We're rich again. And there'll never be, when we finish this out, there'll never be any wealth like what we have. Other countries were taking advantage of us for years and years. You know that better than anybody. And now we're treating them fairly. But the money coming in is, we've never seen anything like it. The other day they had $31 billion that they found, $31 billion. So we found $31 billion and we're not sure from where it came. A gentleman came in, a financial guy. I said, well, what does that mean? He said, we don't know where it came. I said, check the tariff shelf. No, sir, the tariffs haven't started in that sector yet. I said, yes, they have. They started 7 weeks ago. Check it. Comes back 20 minutes later. Sir, you're right. It came from tariffs. 31 billion. That's enough to buy a lot of battleships, Admiral, to use an old term. I think we should maybe start thinking about battleships, by the way. You know, we have a Secretary of the Navy came to me, because I look at the Iowa out in California, and I look at different ships and the old pictures. I used to watch Victory at Sea. I love Victory at Sea. Look at these admirals. It's got to be your all-time in black and white. When I look at those ships, they came with the destroyers alongside of them, and man, nothing was going to stop. They were 20 deep, and they were in a straight line, and there was nothing going to stop them. And we actually talk about, you know, those ships. Some people would say, no, that's old technology. I don't know. I don't think it's old technology when you look at those guns. But it's something we're actually considering, the concept of battleship. Nice 6-inch sides, solid steel, not aluminum that melts if it looks at a missile coming at it. Starts melting as the missile's about 2 miles away. Now, those ships, they don't make them that way anymore, but you look at it and your secretary likes it, and I'm sort of open to it. And bullets are a lot less expensive than missiles. A lot of reasons. I should take a vote, but I'm afraid to take that vote because I may get voted out on that one. But I tell you, it's something we're seriously considering. There were powers. There were big powers. They were just about as mean and scary as you could be. And so we're looking at that. One of the biggest cases that we won was the decision of the United States Supreme Court to allow us to proceed on the word merit. Merit. So those two words are right up there. So this is, I would say, the opposite, if you ask for a definition, the opposite of political correctness. We went through political correct, where you had to have people that were totally unfit to be doing what you're doing for many reasons. I won't get into them. But for many reasons, they were unfit. Now, it's all based on merit. That was such an unbelievable decision. I didn't expect we were going to win that one. We went in. We said we needed it. We went in for colleges, you know, where kids with a C average are getting into the best colleges, and the kids with A averages won't get in. And kids with the highest boards and the highest marks and the best marks couldn't get into the best schools. And people that had not good boards and not very good marks, I mean, okay, but nothing special, they were getting into our best colleges. I said, this is just crazy. You can't run a country like this. And it was lingering for years, and it got to the Supreme Court, and we won that decision. Merit, everything's based on merit. You're all based on merit. We're not going to have somebody taking your place for political reasons because they are politically correct, and you're not. We take the people that are going to do the best job. That's all. It's very simple. And that's the way our country was built. We were built on merit. We got away from it for a long time. And everyone understands it. And it was done. It was approved. I give great credit to the Supreme Court because I thought they had tremendous courage. I didn't think they'd do that. That was tremendous. I give them maybe for that decision almost more than anything, because it's a hard decision to make. It's really hard. The apparatus of our country was not set up for merit. It was set up for political correctness. And you can never be great if you're going to do that. And we're going to be greater than we ever were before. We're bringing back a focus on fitness, ability, character, and strength. And that's because the purposes of American military is not to protect anyone's feelings. It's to protect our republic. And it's the republic that we dearly love. It's to protect our country. We will not be politically correct when it comes to defending American freedom, and We will be a fighting and winning machine. We want to fight, we want to win, and we want to fight as little as possible. You have to count on people like me to keep you out of wars, because we don't want to go into wars. Many of the wars that I just told you about, we could have entered those wars and settled them in a different way, lose a lot of our troops. And we could have settled them, I guess, differently. Maybe not, actually. You might not have been able to settle them. We just would have been in the middle of a lot of firepower. But when we do need it, you're going to be so ready. And you know it. But very importantly, with that goal in mind, I've committed to spending over $1 trillion on our military in 2026, and that's the most in the history of our country. $1 trillion, that's a lot of money. I hope you like that. Ma'ams and sirs, I hope you like it. That's a hell of a lot of money. We have the best of everything. Every branch is seeing major investments, and as I announced in the Oval Office in March, we are rapidly moving forward with the first ever 6th generation fighter jet. I didn't name it. I did not name it. Boeing came in and they said, "Sir, this is our submittal. It's the greatest fighting jet ever done." And they're testing all these planes, all the companies are testing, and this one tested like through the roof. And they said, "We'd like to name it the F-47. I said, "All right, let me think about it." Then after thinking for about 2 seconds, I said, "Okay." You know what that means, 47, I'm 47. So I'm 45, 46, and 47, if you think about it.
Oh, devolution. Here we go. I'm going to pause this real quick, guys, because it is the top of the hour. I want to go ahead and just double check this real quick. I don't know what's going on with Rumble here. Campaigns. Let's see. Let's see what we got for a campaign, Shady Group. NFL, tune in. Let's do this. Boom. Here we go. Hey, football fanatics, are you ready for some prime-time NFL action? Tune in to Westwood One for all the gridiron glory you crave. From jaw-dropping touchdowns to game-changing plays, don't miss a single moment. The excitement. Catch every snap and every tackle and every victory on Westwood One. You can listen to the NFL on the NFL app, on Westwood One Sports app, on WestwoodOneSports.com via Westwood One station streams, or by asking ALEXA to open Westwood One Sports. If it's the NFL, it's on Westwood One.
Wow, guys! Thank you so much for that, Jeff. And also, what an amazing! I'm trying to listen to this like I'm a fat general.
Yeah.
I'm not very excited about what this guy's up there saying to me, man. He's talking against all my woke policies. He's saying that I'm somehow less than. And meanwhile, there's memes of Millie and drag going around on the internet.
I don't know what you're talking about, Shady. What do you mean, Millie and drag memes?
Millie is just being himself, Jeff. You should allow him to be himself.
He's not been in drag, has he?
Making fun of him is not going to help any of us.
Do you remember we saw that he might have gone to school with Michelle?
I did.
Played football as well. Interesting. Yeah. But I think this is what you're talking about, Shady. Here you go.
Might be.
That was widely estimated and ranged from weeks to months and even years following our departure. There was nothing that I or anyone else saw that indicated a collapse of this Army and this government in 11 days. Central Command submitted a variety of plans that were briefed and approved by the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the Secretary of Defense, and the President. These plans are coordinated.
More than the woman. More than the woman to me. More than the woman. More than the woman to me. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you, Mike Hess, for reminding me of that video. More than a woman to me.
That might have been Billy and Charlie Flynn. I mean, I don't know what was going on.
No, but we need more memes. All right.
We need more memes.
We need more memes, guys. And by the way, let's see. Where were we? Where's my ex?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's like you're in charge of keeping up with your stuff. I'm in Oregon.
You just sit there and look pretty.
That I do that really good, don't I?
Yeah.
I can't believe I got that clip, boy. Oh boy.
I know. My God.
Weaponize that.
My God, guys. All right, so let's go back and look a little bit at Raising Cane, and we'll continue with the Department of War part of the presentation. You ready?
I am.
All right, generals, admirals, senior leaders, good morning. Wow, what a group here today. I will tell you that our enemies are terrified right now that we are all in the same room, and that is a true statement. Welcome everyone to Marine Corps Base Quantico and the first ever Key Leaders All Call. To the Commandant and all of the Marines that have made this event possible, thank you. This was no small feat to put this event together in short order, and I'm glad there's pull-up bars just outside. The SEALs in the corner out there are very happy about that. I regret to inform you there will not be a PT test after this event because I know you all would crush it. Last night I had the privilege of joining the Secretary and the Joint Chiefs in honoring 50 Gold Star families at the White House as the President, the First Lady, and our nation honored their loved ones' service and sacrifices. Teammates, it was a quiet and deeply meaningful event that reminded all of us that were lucky enough to be there of the serious and unforgiving nature of the business that we are in, fighting and winning our nation's wars. Leaders, we are living in dynamic and potentially dangerous times. Global risk is on the rise. Our adversaries are no longer aligning, they are aligned. And we must align with equal resolve and unity. Even as we strive for and seek peace, we must be prepared for war. Now, more than ever, it is vital that we hear from our civilian leaders, understand where they're taking the department and the joint force. And today we have the unprecedented opportunity and honor to hear directly from the Secretary of War and our Commander-in-Chief. Together, you and I and our civilian leaders have the honor of leading the finest military in the world. And we must seize every opportunity every day to prepare our joint force for the future. I am deeply humbled to serve with each and every one of you. And now it is my distinct honor to introduce our nation's Secretary of War, the Honorable Pete Hegseth.
Please take your seats. Well, Mr. Chairman, the Joint Chiefs, generals, admirals, commanders, officers, senior enlisted, NCOs, enlisted, and every member of our American military, good morning. Good morning and welcome to the War Department, because the era of the Department of Defense is over. You see, the motto of my first platoon was, "Those who long for peace must prepare for war." This is, of course, not a new idea. This crowd knows that. The origin dates to the 4th century Rome and has been repeated ever since, including by our first Commander-in-Chief, George Washington, the first leader of the War Department. It captures a simple yet profound truth. To ensure peace, we must prepare for war. From this moment forward, the only mission of the newly restored Department of War is this: warfighting, preparing for war and preparing to win, unrelenting and uncompromising in that pursuit. Not because we want war, no one here wants war, but it's because we love peace. We love peace for our fellow citizens. They deserve peace, and they rightfully expect us to deliver it. Our number one job, of course, is to be strong so that we can prevent war in the first place. The president talks about it all the time. It's called peace through strength. And as history teaches us, the only people who actually deserve peace are those who are willing to wage war to defend it. That's why pacifism is so naive and dangerous. It ignores human nature and it ignores human history. Either you protect your people and your sovereignty, or you will be subservient to something or someone. It's a truth as old as time. And since waging war is so costly in blood and treasure, we owe our republic a military that will win any war we choose or any war that is thrust upon us. Should our enemies choose foolishly to challenge us, they will be crushed by the violence, precision, and ferocity of the War Department. In other words, to our enemies, F-A-F-O.
Yeah.
If necessary, our troops can translate that for you. Another way to put it is peace through strength, brought to you by the warrior ethos. And we are restoring both. As President Trump has said, and he's right, we have the strongest, most powerful, most lethal, and most prepared military on the planet. That is true, full stop. Nobody can touch us. It's not even close. This is true largely because of the historic investments that he made in his first term, and we will continue in this term. But it's also true because of the leaders in this room and the incredible troops that you all lead. But the world, and as the chairman mentioned, our enemies get a vote. You feel it, I feel it. This is a moment of urgency, mounting urgency. Enemies gather, threats grow. There is no time for games. We must be prepared. If we're going to prevent and avoid war, we must prepare now. We are the strength part of peace through strength. And either we're ready to win or we are not. You see, this urgent moment, of course, requires more troops, more munitions, more drones, more patriots, more submarines, more B-21 bombers. It requires more innovation, more AI in everything and ahead of the curve. More cyber effects, more counter UAS, more space, more speed. America is the strongest, but we need to get stronger and quickly. The time is now, and the cause is urgent. The moment requires restoring and refocusing our defense industrial base, our shipbuilding industry, and onshoring all critical components. It requires, as President Trump has done, getting our allies and partners to step up and share the burden. America cannot do everything. The free world requires allies with real hard power, real military leadership, and real military capabilities. The War Department is tackling and prioritizing all of these things. And I'll be giving a speech next month that'll showcase the speed, innovation, and generational acquisition reforms we are undertaking urgently. Likewise, the nature of the threats we face in our hemisphere and in deterring China is another speech for another day, coming soon. This speech today, as I drink my coffee, this speech today is about people, and it's about culture. The topic today is about the nature of ourselves. Because no plan, no program, no reform, no formation will ultimately succeed unless we have the right people and the right culture at the War Department. If I've learned one core lesson in my 8 months in this job, it's that personnel is policy. Personnel is policy. The best way to take care of troops is to give them good leaders committed to the warfighting culture of the department. Not perfect leaders, good leaders. Competent, qualified, professional, agile, aggressive, innovative, risk-taking, apolitical, faithful to their oath and to the Constitution. Eugene Sledge, in his World War II memoir, wrote, quote, "War is brutish, inglorious, and a terrible waste. Combat leaves an indelible mark on those who are forced to endure it. The only redeeming factors are my comrades' incredible bravery and their devotion to each other. In combat, there are thousands of variables, as I learned in Iraq and Afghanistan, and as so many of you did in so many more places. Leaders can only control about 3 of them. You control how well you're trained, mostly how well you're equipped, and the last variable is how well you lead. After that, you're on your own. Our warfighters are entitled to be led by the best and most capable leaders. That is who we need you all to be. Even then, in combat, even if you do everything right, you may still lose people because the enemy always gets a vote. We have a sacred duty to ensure that our warriors are led by the most capable and qualified combat leaders. This is one thing you and I can control, and we owe it to the force to deliver it. For too long, we have simply not done that. The military has been forced by foolish and reckless politicians to focus on the wrong things. In many ways, this speech is about fixing decades of decay, some of it obvious, some of it hidden. Or as the chairman has put it, we are clearing out the debris, removing the distractions, clearing the way for leaders to be leaders. You might say we're ending the war on warriors. I heard someone wrote a book about that. For too long, we've promoted too many uniformed leaders for the wrong reasons, based on their race, based on gender quotas, based on historic so-called firsts. We've pretended that combat arms and non-combat arms are the same thing. We've weeded out so-called toxic leaders under the guise of double-blind psychology assessments, promoting risk-averse, go-along-to-get-along conformists instead. You name it, the department did it. Foolish and reckless political leaders set the wrong compass heading, and we lost our way. We became the woke department, but not anymore. Right now, I'm looking out at a sea of Americans who made a choice when they were young men and young women to do something most Americans will not, to serve something greater than yourself, to fight for God and country, for freedom and the Constitution. You made a choice to serve when others did not, and I commend you. You are truly the best of America. But this does not mean, and this goes for all of us, that our path to this auditorium on this day was a straight line, or that the conditions of the formations we lead are where we want them to be. You love your country, and we love this uniform, which is why we must do better. We just have to be honest. We have to say with our mouths what we see with our eyes, to just tell it like it is in plain English, to point out the obvious things right in front of us. That's what leaders must do. We cannot go another day without directly addressing the plank in our own eye, without addressing the problems in our own commands and in our own formations. This administration has done a great deal from day one to remove the social justice, politically correct, and toxic ideological garbage that had infected our department, to rip out the politics. No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. As I've said before, and will say again, we are done with that shit. I've made it my mission to uproot the obvious distractions that made us less capable and less lethal. That said, the War Department requires the next step. Underneath the woke garbage is a deeper problem, and a more important problem that we are fixing and fixing fast. Common sense is back at the White House, so making the necessary changes is actually pretty straightforward. President Trump expects it. And the litmus test for these changes is pretty simple. Would I want my eldest son, who is 15 years old, eventually joining the types of formations that we are currently wielding? If in any way the answer to that is no, or even yes, but, then we're doing something wrong. Because my son is no more important than any other American citizen who dons the cloth of our nation. He is no more important than your son. All precious souls made in the image and likeness of God. Every parent deserves to know that their son or their daughter that joins our ranks is entering exactly the kind of unit that the Secretary of War would want his son to join. Think of it as the golden rule test. Jesus said, "Do unto others that which you would have done unto yourself." It's the ultimate simplifying test of truth. The new War Department golden rule is this: do unto your unit as you would have done unto your own child's unit. Would you want him serving with fat or unfit or undertrained troops? Or alongside people who can't meet basic standards? Or in a unit where standards were lowered so certain types of troops could make it in? In a unit where leaders were promoted for reasons other than merit, performance, and warfighting? The answer is not just no, it's hell no. This means at the War Department, first and foremost, we must restore a ruthless, dispassionate, and common sense application of standards. I don't want my son serving alongside troops who are out of shape, or in combat unit with females who can't meet the same combat arms physical standards as men, or troops who are not fully proficient on their assigned weapons, platform, or task, or under a leader who was the first, but not the best. Standards must be uniform, gender neutral, and high. If not, they're not standards. They're just suggestions. Suggestions that get our sons and daughters killed. When it comes to combat arms units, and there are many different stripes across our joint force, the era of politically correct, overly sensitive, don't hurt anyone's feelings leadership ends right now. At every level, either you can meet the standard, either you can do the job, either you are disciplined, fit, and trained, or you are out. And that's why today, at my direction, and this is the first of 10 Department of War directives that are arriving at your commands as we speak and in your inbox. Today, at my direction, each service will ensure that every requirement for every combat MOS, for every designated combat arms position, returns to the highest male standard only. Because this job is life or death. Standards must be met. And not just met, at every level we should seek to exceed the standard, to push the envelope, to compete. It's common sense and core to who we are and what we do. It should be in our DNA. Today at my direction, we are also adding a combat field test for combat arms units that must be executable in any environment at any time and with combat equipment. These tests, they'll look familiar. They'll resemble the Army Expert Physical Fitness Assessment or the Marine Corps Combat Fitness Test. I'm also directing that warfighters in combat jobs execute their service fitness test at a gender-neutral, age-normed male standard scored above 70%. It all starts with physical fitness and appearance. If the Secretary of War can do regular, hard PT, so can every member of our joint force. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are. So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, a brand new private or a 4-star general, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test. And as the chairman said, yes, there is no PT test. But today, at my direction, every member of the joint force at every rank is required to take a PT test twice a year, as well as meet height and weight requirements twice a year, every year of service. Also today, at my direction, every warrior across our joint force is required to do PT every duty day. Should be common sense. I mean, most units do that already, but we're codifying it. And we're not talking like hot yoga and stretching. Real hard PT, either as a unit or as an individual. At every level, from the Joint Chiefs to everyone in this room to the youngest private, leaders set the standard. And so many of you do this already. Active, Guard, and Reserve. This also means grooming standards. No more beards, long hair, superficial individual expression. We're going to cut our hair, shave our beards, and adhere to standards. Because it's like the broken windows theory of policing. It's like when you let the small stuff go, the big stuff eventually goes. So you have to address the small stuff. This is on duty, in the field, and in the rear. If you want a beard, you can join Special Forces. If not, then shave. We don't have a military full of Nordic pagans. But unfortunately, we have had leaders who either refuse to call BS and enforce standards, or leaders who felt like they were not allowed to enforce standards. Both are unacceptable. And that's why today, at my direction, the era of unprofessional appearance is over. No more beardos. The era of rampant and ridiculous shaving profiles is done. Simply put, if you do not meet the male-level physical standards for combat positions, cannot pass a PT test, or don't want to shave and look professional, it's time for a new position or a new profession. I sincerely appreciate the proactive efforts the secretaries have already taken in some of those areas, service secretaries. And these directives are intended to simply accelerate those efforts. On the topic of standards, allow me a few words to talk about toxic leaders. Upholding and demanding high standards is not toxic. Enforcing high standards, not toxic leadership. Leading warfighters toward the goals of high, gender-neutral, and uncompromising standards in order to forge a cohesive, formidable, and lethal Department of War is not toxic. It is our duty, consistent with our constitutional oath. Real toxic leadership is endangering subordinates with low standards. Real toxic leadership is promoting people based on immutable characteristics or quotas instead of based on merit. Real toxic leadership is promoting destructive ideologies that are an anathema to the Constitution and the laws of nature and nature's God, as Thomas Jefferson wrote in the Declaration of Independence. The definition of toxic has been turned upside down, and we're correcting that. That's why today, at my direction, we're undertaking a full review of the department's definitions of so-called toxic leadership, bullying, and hazing, to empower leaders to enforce standards without fear of retribution or second guessing. Of course, you can't do like nasty bullying and hazing. We're talking about words like bullying and hazing and toxic. They've been weaponized and bastardized inside our formations, undercutting commanders and NCOs. No more. Setting, achieving, and maintaining high standards is what you all do. And if that makes me toxic, then so be it. Second, today at our direction, we're ensuring that every service, every unit, every schoolhouse, and every form of professional military education conduct an immediate review of their standards. Now, we've done this in many places already, but today it goes across the entire Department of War.
Wow, does that mean fully controlled, Shady Groove?
I mean, a number of these things are really starting to make, my spidey senses peak up to understand like what we are doing here and what we've been doing here and how corrupt. He's talking to some of the most corrupt people in the world sitting right there in front of him.
And listen, the only way, the military is the only way fully controlled. Does this sound like it's fully controlled?
Wow.
Very interesting. Shady, let me get this one done. This is a for you. Again, let me just get this done because we have to. God bless you all. Thank you. Hey, football fanatics, are you ready for some primetime NFL action? Tune into Westwood One for all the gridiron glory you crave, from jaw-dropping touchdowns to game-changing plays. Don't miss a single moment of the excitement. Catch every snap, every tackle, and every victory on Westwood One. You can listen to NFL on the NFL app, on the Westwood One Sports app, on WestwoodOneSports.com via Westwood One station streams, or by asking ALEXA to open Westwood One Sports. If it's the NFL, it's on Westwood One. But Shady, it looks like we are getting to that real final control stuff, Shady.
I really, it looks to me like this is like what I said earlier today whenever we signed on to the show, what we signed up for. This is change you can believe in. This is peace through strength. This is the idea that whenever you were young, our generation, the younger generations don't remember this, but whenever we were young, we thought that we never lost, okay? And then the whole Vietnam thing happened, okay? And then everybody's like, oh, no, it wasn't really a war. It was a police action. Oh, we lost 60,000 men to a police action? Like, what are you talking about? None of it made any sense. Then we saw this whole stuff happen in Iraq. Then we saw the stuff happen in Afghanistan. And then we have watched as 20 years went by and the likes of McChrystal and Flynn and all of these people, Petraeus, abysmal failure. I'd say utter abysmal failure at every single front. You couldn't at no point did anything that you do was it productive. Everything was about Lockheed, everything was about Halliburton, everything was about Kellogg, Brown, and Root, everything was about how you're going to build back after we blow everything that they have up one time. Then we get to put it back together, and we're all going to sit and be fat and happy, and we're going to get fat and happy, and we're not going to shave, and we're going to look terrible. And Pete Hegseth is now standing in front of them saying, you guys are freaking disgusting.
Yeah.
God bless him for doing it.
Yeah, amazing. Let's rejoin it, Shady Groove.
Yeah, he's got me fired up.
Fully controlled.
Arr!
Finally. You know, the military is the only way fully controlled. 11.3. That was supposed to be the election, guys, okay? Biden stole it. It was rigged. This is happening now. This is what this means, guys.
Biggest drop ever on poll.
Wow.
Any place where tried and true physical standards were altered, especially since 2015 when combat arms standards were changed to ensure females could qualify, must be returned to their original standard. Other standards have been manipulated to hit racial quotas as well, which is just as unacceptable. This too must end. Merit only. The president talks about it all the time, merit-based. Here are two basic frameworks I urge you to pursue in this process. Standards I call, my staff's heard all about them, the 1990 test and the E6 test. The 1990s test is simple. What were the military standards in 1990? And if they have changed, tell me why. Was it a necessary change based on the evolving landscape of combat? Or was the change due to a softening, weakening, or gender-based pursuit of other priorities? 1990s seems to be as good a place to start as any. And the E6 test, ask yourself, does what you're doing make the leadership, accountability, and lethality efforts of an E6, or frankly an O3, does it make it easier or more complicated? Does the change empower staff sergeants, petty officers, and tech sergeants to get back to basics? The answer should be a resounding yes. The E6 test, or O3 test, clarifies a lot, and it clarifies quickly. Because war does not care if you're a man or a woman. Neither does the enemy. Nor does the weight of your rucksack, the size of an artillery round, or the body weight of a casualty on the battlefield who must be carried.
And I remember that saying, Sandy Star White says, shape up or ship out. I remember that. That is an old military saying, Sandy. And yes, that's what it should be. Shape up or ship out.
And I want to be very clear about this. This is not about preventing women from serving. We very much value the impact of female troops. Our female officers and NCOs are the absolute best in the world. But when it comes to any job that requires physical power to perform in combat, those physical standards must be high and gender neutral. If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is. If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it. That is not the intent, but it could be the result, so be it. It will also mean that weak men won't qualify because we're not playing games. This is combat. This is life or death. As we all know, this is you versus an enemy hell-bent on killing you. To be an effective, lethal fighting force, you must trust that the warrior alongside you in battle is capable, truly physically capable of doing what is necessary under fire. You know, this is the only standard you would want for your kids and for your grandkids. Apply the War Department Golden Rule, the 1990 test, and the E6 test, and it's really hard to go wrong. Third, we are attacking and ending the walking on eggshells and zero defect command culture. A risk-averse culture means officers execute not to lose instead of to win. A risk-averse culture means NCOs are not empowered to enforce standards. Commanders and NCOs don't take necessary risks or make tough adjustments for fear of rocking the boat or making mistakes. A blemish-free record is what peacetime leaders covet the most, which is the worst of all incentives. We, as senior leaders, need to end the poisonous culture of risk aversion and empower our NCOs at all levels to enforce standards. Truth be told, for the most part, we don't need new standards. We just need to reestablish a culture where enforcing standards is possible. And that's why today at my direction, I'm issuing new policies that will overhaul the IG, EO, and MEO processes. I call it the no more walking on eggshells policy. We are liberating commanders and NCOs. We are liberating you. We are overhauling an inspector general process, the IG, that has been weaponized, putting complainers, ideologues, and poor performers in the driver's seat. We're doing the same with the equal opportunity and military equal opportunity policies, the EO and MEO at our department. No more frivolous complaints, no more anonymous complaints, no more repeat complainants, no more smearing reputations, no more endless waiting, no more legal limbo, no more sidetracking careers, no more walking on eggshells. Of course, being a racist has been illegal in our formation since 1948. The same goes for sexual harassment. Both are wrong and illegal. Those kinds of infractions will be ruthlessly enforced. But telling someone to shave or get a haircut or to get in shape or to fix their uniform or to show up on time or to work hard, that's exactly the kind of discrimination we want. We are not civilians. You are not civilians. You are set apart for a distinct purpose. So we as a department need to stop acting and thinking like civilians and get back to basics and put the power back in the hands of commanders and NCOs. Commanders and NCOs who make life and death decisions. Commanders and NCOs who enforce standards and ensure readiness. Commanders and NCOs who in this War Department have to look in the mirror and have to pass the golden rule test. My kids, your kids, America's sons and daughters. So I urge you all here today and those watching, take this guidance and run with it. The core of this speech.
All these people right here are getting spanked. Shady, I remember when I was younger, I was thinking about joining the Army. I went to the place. I wasn't in shape. They said you probably wouldn't make it. That's how it should be. I got in shape later, and I probably could have made it later. But I was, not 190 pounds. I was like 240, right? And I was 19. And you have to be like, if you're 6'4", your weight is supposed to be 190. I would not have made it. I would have been that private pile guy, right? I mean, we remember the strength of the military. I had friends that were denied service because they had, underlying, issue, health, medically. If you can't do it, you can't fight right. You want the person next to you in that hole. Like if you're in a combat situation, you want your battle partner to be ready to go, to pick you up, to get you going, to fight well with you, to be healthy, to be strong, and to win, Shady.
It's interesting because I don't really talk about this a lot, but I have an interesting story surrounding this exact topic. I was actually signed up. I was going to be in the National Guard. Literally, I took the ASVAB test in my junior year of high school. I aced it. I missed like 2 or 3 questions on it. I had the Marines, I had the Air Force, I had the Army all sitting at my table telling me that I was going to be nothing in my life if I didn't sign up with them. And I chose to sign up with the National Guard. And I had a very amazing moment in time where I was approached by someone who was part of the upper echelons of the military that told me not to do it. They told me that it wasn't what I thought it was, and that the people that were in charge weren't the people that I thought they were, and they weren't fighting the battles that I thought that they were fighting. And so I didn't go. And if I had have went, I would have ended up in Iraq, because that's where the group of National Guard that I was going to sign up for ended up somehow not rescuing flood victims from the flood, somehow not working with the Army Corps of Engineers to make the infrastructure around my community better, not to make myself and other people around me. No, I would have ended up in the sands of Iraq, bleeding to death somehow for something that I didn't know what the hell meant. And the idea to me at that point, when I was 18, 17 years old, that the National Guard somehow would be deployed to a foreign theater of war was completely foreign. No one had that concept. No one even thought that was possible. But all of a sudden, we ended up in a scenario where we had our whole National Guard to the point where the American National Guard was depleted during Hurricanes Katrina and a couple of other things where we weren't able to respond to stuff here in America because our National Guard and all of our equipment was in the Middle East. So it could have been very, very likely that I would have wanted to serve my country and to be in the National Guard and to have died in Iraq instead of be here talking to you. It's very possible that could have happened.
So here we are. We got an active shooter at some military base. The same time, Hegseth and Trump are addressing military generals.
And then, isn't that interesting how this always plays out? Right?
What are the odds?
They're pretty astronomical. Actually.
When bad news is about to break against them, what happens?
The odds of a shooting happen when bad news is about to break against them is literally like 98.7%.
Yeah. So here we are with the shutdown looming. So Trump was in the Oval Office today, and apparently he was throwing down the 17s like a lot, Shady Grove.
Bobby sneezed on him.
Yeah, who did?
Bobby sneezed right beside him. I saw the clip while you were playing that.
Oh, God.
He sneezed, and Trump's like, oh, I hope I didn't get COVID.
So Shady's going to show you that clip. Let's see it.
No, I don't have it. It was on my phone.
See, why do you do this? You have a show.
I know I do have a show, but I didn't really think we'd get to talking about Bobby sneezing. I'm so sorry.
I got it right here. I got it. Oh, my God. See, Shady? Look at you. All right. Here we go. Check it out.
They couldn't test. God bless you, Bobby. I hope I didn't catch COVID just there. Don't you have Paxlovid?
Yeah. Isolate that guy.
He's got Paxlovid. give me a Paxlovid immediately.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious. Okay.
We do not deserve him, man.
Shady.
Oh,
my God. So let me talk about, this is a looming shutdown, okay? Looming. And it's not, so the fake news everywhere is saying the Democrats want to save health care. And they're not telling you that it's for the illegal aliens, okay?
No, they're not.
We don't want to subsidize your money, my money, the taxpayers' money on illegal aliens. It's pretty simple, isn't it?
They're literally saying they're going to shut down the government because we're refusing to give illegal immigrants health care. That is the ill that they are currently dying on. You can't mince words. You can't make it up. That's literally what's happening.
These people are done.
They're so done. They're so done. And I think that, and honest to God, guys, I think that we want this. I think Trump wants this. I think we all want this. I think that if we can get him to shut this government down, I think that, I said last night, I don't think anybody will be employed in D.C. by the time the government reopens. Like we can literally doge the crap out of the government if they shut it down.
All right, let's watch this. Check it out.
We could come up and through this whole thing, because I don't know, we'll probably have a shutdown because one of the things they want to do is they want to give incredible Medicare, the Cadillac Medicare to illegal immigrants. And what that does is it keeps them coming into our country, and like they do in California. And no country can afford that. No country. And we have the border stopped up. We have it closed. We have nobody for 4 months. Zero people came in. That wasn't me. That's by the authorities who happen to be liberally oriented. But just think of that. We have people offering health care to people all over the world that they can't afford to pay. And that's the Democrats. And what that does is it brings people into the country because they want to come in for the health care. But no country can afford it. And they can't afford it. So we cannot allow them to charge tremendous amounts of money for health care for people that aren't even citizens. And in many cases, they come in from prisons, jails, and mental institutions. And we can't let that happen. So-
Wow. We can't let that happen. Can
I know.
And I see the news, Shady Groove, saying for Americans. No, it's for illegal aliens.
They're just saying that on TV because listen, guys, this is what's happened. They have registered millions and millions of illegal people to vote. Okay,
you got to pay them back.
Yeah, exactly. And if we cut off their supply line, if we cut off their ability to get food or SNAP funding or any of these other things or all of these different things that they've been given, you know what they won't be doing in 2026? They won't be voting. They won't be here. therefore the Democrats aren't going to win. Everybody's like telling me, oh, because Donald Trump is doing all of these things. I heard somebody say this morning that Donald Trump is going to lose the 2026 midterms because of the shenanigans that he's been. Like, what shenanigans has he been pulling? If anything, we're probably going to like increase our lead in the House and the Senate in the midterms because people are seeing things like Democrats cheering when people get shot in the neck.
I'm sure Q never said anything about government shutdowns.
Yes, Q did.
What?
We're going to do a review.
How many times do you think Q said shutdown?
I'm going to guess 10.
12.
Ah,
good guess. Very good guess. So let's go over those now. The first time Q mentioned shutdown, Anon says, hey, I have a question. The 10 days, darkness, when? Shutdown, Q. Q post 282 on 10/6/2017. Risk of another shutdown, be prepared to lose access, 12/11/2017. So does that mean that other clowns are going to lose access to stuff, Shady Groove?
Yes.
It's 365. Flash break. Triangle, star, triangle, triangle, star. Shall we play a game? Map is critical to understand. Future unlocks past. D-class ATL past. News unlocks map. Find the markers 10 and 10. 12-7, 12-17. Concourse F, Terminal 5. Private operated plane. ATL, IAD. Extraction unknown or known. Dark. Darkness. Learn double meanings. Shutdown.
Wow.
Special place. Why are drops being highlighted by POTUS shortly thereafter? Coincidence or message? The Great Awakening. POTUS today. Unlock? How about a nice game of chess? No shutdown, it seems. Define shutdown. Was ATL shut down? Will NK be shut down? Who controls NK? Leverage. Remove leverage to capture the flag. Capture the flag to end the rule. End the rule of who? Who controls North Korea? Trust. 520, 123, 113, 18. Okay. This is talking about big news. Oh my God. This is crazy. I remember these posts when it happened.
Yeah, that's big, bigger, biggest, right? Yep.
Yep. Big, bigger, biggest. Haiti focus. Because of the Democrats not being interested in life and safety, DACA now is taking a big step backwards. The Dem will threaten shutdown, but what they are really doing is shutting down our military at a time we need it most. Get smart. Make America great again. We are fighting for our country. Focus on POTUS's tweet above. If D's shut down the government, what happens to the U.S. military? What specifically occurs? Think budget. Why is this relevant?
That's a very interesting post. The map is key. Oh wow, look at that. And this lines up a lot better now than it did then, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Wow.
Yeah, it does. All right, so let's go.
This is interesting timing. I'm going to get stuck on that post just a second. You just showed that because this is interesting timing. Think about what we've been witnessing. All those people that were in that room that we just saw Hegseth talking to. Remember, like, what was it, 3 or 4 days ago over the weekend, there was a call put out for all of them to get your asses back to D.C. because we got to talk to you. Mm-hmm. So effectively, that post that you were just reading kind of has a lot more meaning there whenever you put that into the bag of possibilities.
Yep, here it is right here. It's Q post 520, guys, if you want it. But look at this, guys. So these are all the shutdown posts, okay? Also very interesting is shutdown primary reasons. Sessions, Rush House, Republican distortion of facts, Mueller, POTUS, free pass. Shutdown primary reasons. Distract, weaken military access. Include illegal votes. Black voters abandoning, keep them starved, keep them blind, keep them stupid. HRC, March. That's Hillary Rodham Clinton. March 13th, 2013. Intercept, The Great Awakening. Fight, fight, fight. Here's another one right here. The entire shutdown exercise was Schumer's attempt to put Trump in his place. He failed spectacularly. Thank you for visiting the White House. Fear, Q. Martha M. on Fox just said Nancy must have felt betrayed by Chuck because he gave in on the government shutdown regarding DACA. Thank you for visiting the White House. Q. Remember that, Nancy and Chuck? Now they're not visiting.
It's interesting with the connection to DACA, too, whenever you're talking about, the people that are here voting illegally. Almost every one of those DACA people are voting illegally.
Now look at this, Shady Grove. This is one of my first Q posts here, Shady.
I know.
I mean, I don't think we can see in the Matrix. Oh, there he is.
Oh.
There he is. All right, so look at this, Shady Grove. President Trump on Tuesday engaged in an extraordinary argument with Democrat congressional leaders over his demand for border wall funding, threatening a government shutdown if he does not get the money. I will be the one to shut it down, he told the House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer at the White House. During the contentious meeting in the Oval Office, Pelosi repeatedly asked Trump not to discuss the funding request in front of the news media. You will not win, Pelosi told Trump. The meeting was scheduled to be closed to the press, but the White House unexpectedly opened it to the reporters just as Pelosi and Schumer were arriving at the White House. The exchange heightened the sense of drama surrounding the government funding stalemate between Trump and the Democrats. And here it is, battle over the wall in Oval Office spat. Here's my little thumb right here, red castle, green castle, shady groove.
That's like 9 years old.
You will not win, Pelosi. You did not think the largest military spending bill in history in FY19 wasn't going to be indirectly include funding for the wall, did you? Learn the Constitution regarding vested powers of the POTUS regarding matters of national security. This was planned and forecasted as the border funding solution from the beginning. Anons had the proof long ago, but shining a light back then would have defeated the primary purpose of showing the public the real objective of the D's party of open borders, elimination of ICE, elimination of security, defend illegals over America, midterm elections. These people are stupid. And look, Shady, wow.
Ow.
Look at you, Red Castle, Green Castles.
Look at all these red castles in here watching this show.
Yeah, guess what the Army Corps of Engineers can build? Walls. Thank you very much, Q. That was an amazing day. Also, look at this. Happy holidays. So what happens when California is in serious debt and decides to implement resident overreach by extending statewide shutdowns? Okay, that's the MS shutdown immediately post-drop. Okay, this is in regarding to Microsoft Xbox. Could we be preparing for some kind of shutdown? No. Reports of power grid attacks, 6 months prep should be disregarded. While attacks do occur, we are safeguarded by a black eye, which means a white hat. Very interesting, Shady Groove. But the ones that were actually, this one right here, this post, 2582. These two posts right here, 681, 584. And obviously these two posts right here, 520 and 570, Shady. Huge.
We are ushering in a new era of government that functions, government that you can be, government that you can think that maybe it works for you in some regard. Like there's been literally nothing. There's absolutely 100% nothing that any of us could ever point to that government has done for us that benefited us in our real life. You really can't. I mean, honest, you say, oh, the roads and streets, you would go out and get on a road and drive around for a second. You're going to realize that the roads aren't in really very good shape whatsoever. So especially in part of the Northeast, some of the worst roads in the country. So, you're talking about what does government do for you? Does it work for you? I see something very interesting, Jeff. I see that, we've been talking about this example reality. Everything that Donald Trump is doing is an example reality. Well, we need the example reality for our state governments. And it sounds completely opposite of anything you've ever heard, because everything that we know to be true about America has to do with the people first, and then the people's government moves up from community to the federal level. But right now, all of our in-between governments are FUBAR. They're screwed up so badly you can't even understand what the hell they're talking about, because they're injected and infected with this DEI and this woke crap. How do we navigate away from it? The only way to navigate away from it is for Donald Trump to set us an example by utilizing the federal government, slim down the federal government, show us that the federal government is awash with corruption and BS, and it's not really necessary. And then the people may get the hint and do the same thing within the walls and the legislative units of their own particular states, as we win a bigger majority going forward. MAGA is not done with Donald John Trump. MAGA is not done with what is going to happen in America. MAGA is going to be considered what saved America. The people that supported Donald Trump and voted for him in 2016, in 2020, in 2024 will be looked at, or the people 100 years from now thanking us for getting rid of the slave system that was created 100 years before us. We will be the one thanked for doing it for them 100 years from now.
Amen. Amen. And you, all of you.
All of us, yes.
Also, Black Eye regarding that is in cybersecurity. It's an open source phishing tool. Phishing is fun. Designed to clone website login pages to capture users' credentials. Okay. So that goes to that Black Eye post as well. Real quick, I want to play this as well, because President Trump continues in regards to the shutdown. Check this out.
Nothing is inevitable, but I would say it's probably likely, because they want to give health care to illegal immigrants, which will destroy health care for everybody else in our country. And I didn't see them bend even a little bit when I said we can't do that. Nothing is.
So that's what Trump is standing strong. It's the art of the deal, guys. But so we just had reports that the ICE in Portland and the ICE in Chicago and all the ICE members will still be getting paid, even though there's a shutdown, because you remember, they think the shutdown will defund ICE too, guys. It's a bigger plan if you guys zoom out to the 40,000 foot view.
That the thing is, that's not going to work. What it's going to actually do is it's going to actually stop government from getting in the way of us arresting ICE. Guys, it's now on Law and Order. I saw a clip from Law and Order showing that whenever they're like standing there and they're talking to a criminal in the office of the Law and Order show, and then the guy comes rushing in. ICE is downstairs.
No, I saw that.
And then the lady gets up and she's like, they start rushing out the illegal immigrant ahead of ICE.
Yeah, I saw that. That was the new episode of Law and Order. Yeah, my
mom watched that stuff relentlessly. This is how our parents and the people that watch the boob tube 24/7 are completely propagandized by the numbnut media. It's your responsibility. You are literally committing a felony by helping that guy get away.
Yep. All right, so here's more on President Trump and the shutdown.
They are shutting it down. We're not shutting it down. We don't want it to shut down because we have the greatest period of time ever. I told you, we have $17 trillion being invested, so the last person that wants it shut down is us. Now, with that being said, we can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them, like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting programs that they like. And you all know Russell Vought. He's become very popular recently because he can trim the budget to a level that you couldn't do any other way. So they're taking a risk by having a shutdown because of the shutdown, we can do things medically and other ways, including benefits. We can cut large numbers of people out. We don't want to do that, but we don't want fraud, waste, and abuse. And, we're cutting that. But they want to have illegal aliens come into our country and get massive health care at the cost to everybody else, and we don't have it. And that's I would say, the number one reason that they want to strike is to get illegal immigrants health care. And, Gavin Newsom wants that, too, in California, and it's destroying California. We can't have that. We're not going to let it happen.
So you hear what he said, Shady? He basically confirmed that he can basically doge the entire government.
I would like to show you guys the post that I made earlier today. I believe Trump wants a shutdown. I think it will open the door to large-scale government cleansing of unnecessary employees and positions that are no longer needed for the future golden age. Doge on steroids will happen if the Dems shut down the government. Bookmark it. Wow, what do you say? I'm going to hand this to you guys if you like this post. Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
I like it. I like it a lot. And then we're going to finish off this hour with Trump RX. Shitty Groove, check it out.
And can you guarantee that your voters who supported the election, particularly working class voters, will not lose health insurance under this bill?
Oh, they won't lose health insurance. Not only that, remember, I'm cutting drug prices by 85%. And right now, I'm saving it. I'm saving the whole thing because I did something that nobody was willing to do. Other countries pay a tiny fraction what we do. And I instituted favored nations. We're now going to pay the lowest in the world. We're going to be the equivalent of the lowest country in the world. People go to London, they go to Canada, they go to other countries, many other countries, because they want to buy their pharmaceutical products, their drugs, at a fraction of the cost. Now we're going to have the lowest cost anywhere in the world, and nobody else would do that but me. And that might be an election by itself, might be election winning. Now, when you add that in, when you put that into Medicaid and Medicare, we just strengthened Medicare and Medicaid. And the Democrats won't do that. You know why? Because they're taken care of by the drug companies. And the ones that are taken care of are hard line. Some Republicans get money from drug companies, and that's okay, because they're okay with it. I talked about it. The drug companies take care of everybody. It's the biggest lobby, most powerful lobby in the world. There's no lobby like that. But the Republicans are okay with it. Not only okay with it, they love it. It was time. So we're going to cut drug prices from 75 to 85, in some cases even more than that.
Wow.
Yeah. because they shouldn't be elevated. Like the whole thing that happened under Obama with the healthcare system and everything about Obamacare, all of that, every single bit of that was corruption. Every single bit of that was about sustaining ridiculously high drug prices forever so that they could sell drugs to other countries cheaper. Remember, we consume like 70% of all the pharmaceuticals made. We consume 70% of all pharmaceuticals made on Earth here in America. Okay, so the big cash cow is us. So they're charging us 10, 15x what this stuff really costs. And we're sitting back and we're saying, please give me more. I'd like some more. I can't live another day without coming up with another drug to figure out how to pronounce and to take.
Yeah. Apparently, Alina Haba posted that there's no active shooter at the base in New Jersey, Bonster Q. I don't have the link. I don't see it, but I'm taking your word for it. Thank God. And we are out of here, Shady Groove. We're not going to give up.
We're not only are we not going to give up, we're going to keep kicking their ass every single day right here at the MG Show with all of you great patriots that it's been along for this ride. Whether you've been here for 5 months, 2 months, 1 month, or 8 years, you understand the mission. You understand that you are the individual, that you are important, that is we the people. It's not Donald Trump. It sure as hell is the Democrats, and it sure is not the Antifa.
Thank you, Shady Groove. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you, Yeti. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the donations. We appreciate you guys. God bless you all.
Many of you are beginning to awaken to a reality which you never suspected. You're coming out of the fantasy. You are becoming illumined.
I will never give up. I will never run. I will never stop until I find a way to you. I will never give up. I will never run. I will never stop until I find a way to you.
You are discovering that illumination can be upsetting. It can also be wonderful. That the real world is much different than the one you knew, and that the burden of the voice that speaks to you from within, as a result of that, is like the thunder and lightning of God. I know the feeling well. And if you're paying attention to it, is your first vision of God, because visions of God only come with the truth. When you see the truth, you are dealing with God.
I will never give up. I will never run. I will never stop until I find a way to you. I will never give up. I will never run. I will never stop until I find a way to you.
It's a vision absolutely necessary to all of our future progress if we're going to make any. Without this divine law, there could be no harmony of the soul. And as seekers after oneness with God, we must discover and apply to our own life the laws of His being. You see, it's easier to yield up something once and for all than maintain a daily conflict with ourselves and forcing upon ourselves obedience in thought, word, and deed to the divine law. The conflict is within you. It always has been.
I will never give up. I will never run. I will never stop until I find a way to you. I will never give up. I will never run. I will never stop until I find a way to you. I will never give up. I will never run. I will never stop until I find a way to you. I will never give up. I will never run. I will never stop until I find a way.
It is indeed, ladies and gentlemen, a steep ascent, always rugged, mostly lonely, often very dangerous, and at times so very, very difficult as to seem beyond our ability, yet it is the only way. This nation hinges upon the success of those who are climbing.
www.mg.show. Boom.